Hello, beautiful hearts. My name is Yvonne Wildheart, and welcome to the Cycle Report for the 2nd of August 2020. I come to you from Jojo, Wurrung Country in Central Highlands, Victoria, Australia, in the Southern Hemisphere. So this week, the first week of August, is a cross quarter on the wheel. So we are at the midway point between winter solstice, which was the longest night of the year back in June 21st, 22nd, and spring equinox, which is the equal day, equal night, which will fall here in the Southern Hemisphere September 21st, 22nd. So we are exactly in between that point. This weekend, the 1st and 2nd of August, is the traditional date for Imbolc, is what we call the midway point, the cross-quarter point of this particular point on the Earth wheel. So with the actual date of the midway point, where the Earth is exactly in between those, the two, the main points of where it tilts. So the furthest point where it tilts the furthest south, and where it's halfway in between before it tilts north, which will fall on the 7th of August this year, so next Friday. So in the Northern Hemisphere, they are in between summer solstice and autumn equinox. So they are on the descent. So their Earth cycle, they're moving into winter. We are moving into summer. So here at this point in the wheel, Imbolc, it's all about the birthing. So we are, really birthing something new here, And it really struck me today, actually, that, as I'm being burning off here, preparing our land for summer and burning, a lot of the wood is still wet. And when you put on the fire, you hear the sizzle and the crack. And it's really interesting. There is an awesome podcast called Why Shamanism Now, and the lady, I can't remember her name right now, my apologies, but she talks about how pan-culturally many shamanic cultures will use the creation story of fire and water. So, once we move through, fire, melts away the water, it flares up into action, and this is what birth is about. And it really also hit me today that we've just come out of the sun has just come out of the Cancerian astrology sign and moving into Leo. So Cancer is being the primordial waters, it's the crab in the womb with the waters, and in that birthing moment, it comes out to the light, into the sun, which is now, as we move through this, into the Leo, which is a fire sign. So it's that point of coming, here we are. It's not the spark that began the conception, which was back, for us in the Earth cycle back in winter solstice, but it's the birthing of gathering the ideas of we've gained between the two very important points. So we are coming out of what I would call the realm of the dark goddess, which started back, well, you could say she started back in autumn equinox, but really hit, which was the midway point between autumn equinox and winter solstice, which was Halloween, or Samhain here, which was back in the start of May. So we are coming out of the realm of the dark goddess and coming into the light, into the maiden selves again, because we've just gone through a deep transformational process and still are, because we are birthing. So once you've birthed something, once a baby is birthed, you can't go back into the womb. Once, you've gone through the fire, you've changed forever. So this is a very pivotal point of transformation. So, and here we are, in this point of the cycle of deep transformation and a deep rebirthing. And, as we move into the light more and more into the summer solstice, we'll just feel that, that expanding into the sun and expanding out. It's the growing, it's the seeding. And you can see it on the land, we have the wattle bursting forth at the moment, because it's so yellow and it's so bright. It's like a reminder that, sun is on its way, the masculine, and wattle is associated with the masculine. So the coming out and the merging is a masculine energy. It's like I'm coming out and I'm going out into the world. Whereas on the descent, it's more the feminine energy, which is coming in, coming into the feminine body and just, feeling the descent as we come in further and further and further. But here we are stepping out into the masculine energy. Which feels, it's action orientated. And if you do follow astrology, you'll know that Mars has hit a pivotal point in Aries. So it is that action, that's that fire that we're being pushed along. And, how you approach it, do you approach it with a wounded masculine, or is it a healed masculine version, a full reverence of the action? Is something to really consider and to sit in. Are you coming from a place of woundedness within yourself, or is it a place of love? And when we step into the light, it is calling us to step into love. That baby, and it's not the case often, but a baby is expecting to be welcomed into loving arms. And if not, well, it's a trust in the journey of what's meant to come through, but it needs to be worked through and, going, why, how can I rise above that to be in my light, and that takes some work to do. So, over the next few weeks, have a look at the land around you and what's happening, have a look at the emergence that's happening as we're going through the birth canal and out into the light, and to raise our vibration higher and higher as we step and really take in that beautiful light. As we talk about the light, we are 2 days away from this full illumination full moon. So the full moon is all about illuminating all the shadows. It's illuminating everything. It's the peak energy of the moon. It's it's the point where everything is in its fullness. So the moon being really, really bright at this point, the brightest it's going to be for this moon cycle. It's shedding the light on the things that, are sitting in the dark shadows, but also the things that we are wanting to call forth. It's a really good time to do full moon prayers between now and, so the full moon comes in sort of the wee hours on Tuesday morning here in, Eastern Standard Time, Australia. So it's about that coming in and calling forth the one thing that you want to bring in full illumination. So, I give great thanks for under this full moon, I give great thanks for full illumination of, whether it be full illumination of how to nurture myself in this time of unraveling and rebirthing, full illumination of what I need to do to nurture my family, So what is it that you're wanting to call forth? Full illumination of what needs to happen so I can step into full love, and remember that whatever shows up is what stands in the way of that. So if you do those massive, powerful prayers, and coming into, stepping through this full moon with great intention, what shows up in the harvest is what needs to be, worked through so you can be rebirthed again down in the dark moon. And, it's for every cycle. So, with the earth cycle, we're moving up. With the moon cycle, we're coming into fullness. And if you're a bleeding woman, I invite you to tap into your menstrual cycle if you're not already charting it, and figure out where you're at in this wheel of your body cycle, because that's the dominant energy that plays out. So for me, I am feeling pretty powerful at the moment because I am just coming over ovulation. So there's full moon, emerging. Here I am, okay, I can get lots of things done when I've got full power energy behind me. And of course, back in the, when it was a new moon a couple of weeks ago, I was also bleeding. So it was a time of coming in, but I didn't really nurture my body so much. So I am feeling a hint of tiredness. Whatever starts the cycle is what begins the cycle. Just a couple of things. We have 3 spaces left in the Invoking Inanna journey, which starts in a couple of weeks. If you're interested, click on the links. And so much Imbolc blessings. I love you. You're amazing. Thank you for listening. Take care.